Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
Every weekday, we pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
Find Talking Fitchburg on cable TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and our live stream on the web. Plus, you can find all our headlines and stories on Facebook, YouTube, and our video on demand service. This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Get connected, Fitchburg. We're launching Fitchburg Connect, the city's new monthly e-newsletter that keeps you informed about all the events, services, and updates that matter to you. Get it in your inbox once a month. Sign up today to get Fitchburg Connect.
Good evening, everyone, to the Fitchburg Common Council meeting for April 14, 2026. The first thing is to call to the order to the meeting at 6:33 p.m. Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Next, please, roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Radafrada.
Here,
Alder Dancer Jr. is absent.
without excuse.
Alder Gerhardt.
Here.
Alder Herbst.
Here.
Alder Jetzer.
Here.
Alder Latase.
Here.
Alder Lepper.
Here.
Alder Maldonado is absent with excuse. Alder Ragsted.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you. So next, we have a couple of, for the public appearances, non-agenda items. We have a couple of mayoral proclamations. We're going to start with the first one, is recognizing April 25, 2026 as the city official Arbor Day celebration.
Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day called Arbor Day be set aside for the planting of trees, and
Whereas the holiday called Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and
whereas each year on the last Friday in April, people throughout Wisconsin and across the country celebrate Arbor Day by recognizing the wonderful treasure that trees represent and by dedicating themselves to planting trees and maintaining urban and rural forests, and
whereas the city of Fitchburg has planted and maintains over 15,500 trees, continues to plant hundreds of trees every year in order to reach the 30% tree canopy in the urban service territory, and works to protect existing trees whenever possible, and
whereas in December of 1998, Fitchburg's Common Council acknowledged the importance of trees by resolving to develop a community tree management program with the goal of achieving Tree City USA status, and
reduce stormwater runoff, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, calm traffic, are a source of beauty and spiritual renewal, and provide habitat for wildlife, and
whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, beautify our community, and
whereas Fitchburg has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for 28 consecutive years, has earned 12 growth awards, and desires to continue its tree planting ways, and
whereas planting trees by Fitchburg citizens represents a commitment toward community, environment, urban forestry, and aesthetic beauty.
So now, therefore, this is proclaimed by the city of Fitchburg, Mayor and Common Council, that April 25, 2026 is officially known as a Fitchburg Arbor Day celebration. And now, therefore, it is proclaimed by the city of Fitchburg Mayor and Common Council that all citizens are urged to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and also to support our city urban foresting program. That all citizens are urged to plant trees to promote the well-being of present and future generations, so that the future generations can continue to enjoy a green and healthy community, and to look back upon the foresight and dedication of the predecessors with the pride and with the gratitude. and to join with others across our state and nation in celebrating the nobility of trees. This is proclaimed today, April 14, 2026. Oh, okay. So, Anna, do you want to say something about the proclamation?
You're on mute.
Just thank you for thank you for doing a proclamation. We're very excited for Arbor Day coming up in a couple.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to take the picture now. Yeah, okay. And we have someone for the tree committee.
Well, they were afraid of the weather, so we don't have very many people.
Okay, and the next proclamation is declaring the fourth Saturday of April as Celebrate Trails Day.
Whereas on the fourth Saturday of April, the City of Fitchburg, Wisconsin, and Rails to Trails Conservancy invite residents of Fitchburg to join Celebrate Trails Day, an annual springtime celebration of America's trails, and
Whereas the city of Fitchburg is a 6-mile square city of 35,000 residents, designated a silver-level bicycle-friendly community in 2015, and committed to biking and walking as described in its bicycle and pedestrian plan, adopted in 2026. And
whereas Rails to Trails Conservancy, which is the largest walking and biking advocacy organization in the United States, is the national organizer of Celebrate Trails Day, and
Whereas Celebrate Trails Day is an opportunity to showcase the many ways that trails and connected trail networks bring joy and impact people's lives, and
whereas the Friends of the Badger State and Sugar River State Trails will host trail cleanup events beginning at 9 a.m. on Celebrate Trails Day along the Badger State Trail, and
whereas Bike Fitchburg, Inc., Fitchburg's local advocacy organization for biking and walking, will operate a recreation station from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Celebrate Trails Day at the Velo Underground, the confluence of the Southwest Military Ridge and Cannibal Paths, and the Badger and Capital City State Trails. And
whereas Fitchburg hosts portions of these trails and more than 50 miles of multi-use paths, collectively the Fitchburg Greenway system, for people to use, and
whereas trails, especially when connected, provide ways to access the outdoors and safely get around the community by foot, bike, and mobility device.
So now, therefore, on behalf of the Common Council of the City of Fitchburg and in partnership with the Rails to Trails Conservancy, I, Julia Arata Frata, Mayor, hereby proclaim the fourth Saturday of April, April 25, 2026, as Celebrate Trails Day in Fitchburg, Wisconsin, and urge all residents to take advantage of Fitchburg's world-class path and trail system for walking, biking, and rolling. This is proclaimed today, April 14, 2026. Okay.
Yes. Who thought so? Thank you, Mayor and council members, for this proclamation. This is the fourth year of Rails to Trails, Celebrate Trails Day in Fitchburg, and you have seen the signs. There's not quite so many as pancake breakfast signs, but we hope that we will see you all out on the trails, or you can take advantage of the trails in your neighborhood and the multi-use paths. Many people in Fitchburg know that there's a nearby trail but have no idea how extensive our network is, especially in the newer parts of the city. It's great for transportation as well as just getting out in nature. So we hope that you will enjoy trails with Bike Fitchburg and the Wisconsin Bike Fed, which I'm representing tonight. Thank you.
No, thank you, Steve, for coming. Okay.
You bet.
Okay, so next we move to the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
Any questions, comment? Here none. All those in favor of the consent agenda say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So next we move to item 6, Administrator Report.
Good evening, everyone. I do just want to note, obviously, with the severe weather possible this evening, I am working with Deputy Chief Leahy and others to monitor that. In the event there's a reason to move to our shelter area that is in the basement of City Hall, and we'll be sure to alert folks of that, and we will look to do a recess if that does happen. There is currently a tornado warning for northwest Dane County, although that appears to be trending away or northwest or north of Fitchburg at this point in time. But again, we'll continue to monitor it. I did have on my list, I'm a little bit out of order with last night's severe weather. We did have some trees down and some limbs down, but no other significant items to report. And I also wanted to use not only last evening, but tonight's severe weather as an opportunity to remind folks that this is Severe Weather Awareness Week, and there are a number of resources available through the National Weather Service in Dane County and Wisconsin County, or Wisconsin State Emergency Management on how to prepare for severe weather. Some events of note. The Senior Center Pancake Breakfast is this Sunday, April 19th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is at the Senior Center here at the City Hall campus. There will be a public information meeting on the 2026 street resurfacing project. That'll be taking place April 23rd at 5:30 p.m. here in the Common Council chambers. We just did a proclamation in regards to Arbor Day. There are 2 upcoming events to celebrate both Earth Day and Arbor Day. The first is Friday, April 24th from 10 a.m. to noon at Chicory Meadows Park. There'll be a tree planting opportunity there that is funded through the Alliant Energy Million Trees grant. And the second event is Saturday, April 25th from 10 to noon at Western Hills Park. And that is in partnership with the Urban Tree Alliance. Volunteers are welcome to participate in both of the events and are encouraged to bring water and gloves. Any property owner meeting qualifications is encouraged to take a look at the city's website in regards to the Efficiency Navigator program. Applications for that program are due May 1st. We are looking at a few things that I want the Common Council to be aware of from a quorum perspective and calendar perspective, and I'm going to start working through a couple of those right now. We do have a TID 17 amendment that is necessary. TID 17 is in the Verona Road corridor. We have a project where we've reached a tentative agreement in regards to providing TIF financing for that project. And as an amendment, we are able to coordinate the amendment occurring on the same day as the Plan Commission, the Joint Review Board, and Common Council. So we are looking at coordinating that on May 19th with with Joint Review Board occurring at 4 p.m. There's nobody in this room that is needed to be present for the Joint Review Board, if I recall correctly. Plan Commission would be scheduled for 5 p.m. on May 19th, and then Common Council would be scheduled, a special meeting of Common Council would be scheduled for 6 p.m. If you are unable to make that, please notify me no later than the close of business tomorrow so that we can decide if we need to find an alternate date. Yes.
Would it be prudent to do council? Oh, you have to do council at the end because the Plan Commission needs to approve first. I'm just concerned. Plan Commission almost always goes at least 2 hours.
Sure.
Do we think we could?
We could possibly go to recess in Plan Commission if we
Okay.
didn't get through all the agenda items.
Yeah, I feel like I've never seen the Plan Commission go less than at least an hour and a half.
And we can take a look at that and perhaps push council to 6:32 and just see how things play out. So I think the big thing is our folks available so we can ensure we have a common council quorum.
Yes.
I do want to offer my congratulations to the mayor and alders who won their election campaigns on April 7th. Look forward to continued collaboration during your respective terms. As a result of the elections, we'll have our annual organizational meeting next week on Tuesday, April 21st. That meeting is planned for 5:30 p.m. And we would look to do an updated Common Council photo at 5:15 p.m.
Do we need to do the photos since it's the same council?
Yes.
Okay.
Fresh set of clothes.
Bingo. I have a new outfit. I am joking.
Thank you for handling that question, Mayor. In regards to the election, and again, if you are unavailable for that meeting, please let me know by close of business day tomorrow. But that is an annual occurrence, that meeting happening in a week, in the third week.
We can have the picture outside too. I don't know.
Ideally, yes. Next item related to elections, voter turnout for informational purposes. The city has approximately 19,300 registered voters. The total voter turnout was approximately 10,440 votes cast. Of that 10,000, approximately 10,000 votes cast, about 3,300 of those were cast via absentee voting, and the total voter percentage of turnout is 54%. And then finally, last item, also regarding elections, just want to thank our clerk, Tracy Oldenburg, the clerk's department, all other city staff across many, many departments, as well as our community members who participate either as poll workers, election inspectors, or just obviously participate in their ability to vote for all of their work during the election on April 7th. So thank you. Any questions for me?
You have a question? Okay, go ahead.
Any city property experienced damage with the storm last night?
No, just tree damage is all that we've had, to my knowledge. Yep.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, thank you, Chad. So, mayor's reports. So, I want to share that last week I was invited to attend the signing ceremony for SB 480. There is the residential tax incremental district bill. And I attended along with Mike Zimmerman, our economic development director, and Lauren Gogg, our housing specialist. So it was, I sent a letter of support for that bill. So it was a great, ceremony, and also it's another tool that we can have in our toolkit for, for financing workforce housing. So, also on March 31st, there was a press release with Madison regarding the efficiency navigator. So I think I shared with some of you the information about how many units we are already helping our first batch, and then we are also you already supported a resolution for 2026 to support the second round. So, and also we attended the Greater Madison Chamber of Commerce Icebreaker, continue with the meeting for the EMS and fire consolidation, and attended the South Central Trade Fair that it was organized by the Painters Union in the building here in Fitchburg, and more than 700 kids attended from different middle schools from the South Central part of Wisconsin to have an exposure and learn about the different trades, because we know that we need more people on, in those professions. So it was a great event. What else? And also I participated in the recycle event on Saturday. And it was a great event. It was non-stop. I don't know how many people show up, and it was great. I think maybe Logan is going to share some of the numbers. So thank you to the Fitchburg community for participating and attending. It was a great event. We are planning to do another one in the fall. So that's it for me. Any questions, comments? No? Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to move item 8M1, which is the Housing Act Plan.
Okay.
And 8C1, which is the Urban Forestry Plan,
Okay.
to now on the agenda in that order.
Okay.
Second.
Was second by?
Logan.
Okay. All those in favor of moving these two agenda items to the front of the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carry. Oh, I had to stop because I have two people. Okay. Okay, so we move the Housing Advisory Committee. Who is going to report on that? You, Gabriela?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll start with the housing plan. I will move approval of Resolution R 1926, approving an adoption of the 2026 Comprehensive Housing Study and Action Plan for the City of Fitchburg.
Second.
Did the Housing Advisory Committee approve?
Housing Advisory approved.
Did CEDA approve?
CEDA approved.
Finance?
Finance approved.
Okay. What is this?
I'd like to invite our housing
okay.
specialist up to talk about it.
Laureen, so you're going to introduce our consultant?
Good afternoon. So I'm excited to bring forth the final draft of the housing plan. And I just want to talk a little bit about my experiences with working with redevelopment resources, both Christian Fish Peterson and Dana Sarver, throughout this process. So I want to share that they were selected unanimously by the steering committee. And one of the reasons was that their commitment to go above and beyond. And they really have demonstrated that. And I can confidently, say that they exceeded these expectations. From the beginning, one of my top priorities as a staff member was to ensure that the plan reflected the voices of our community, our residents, our staff, and then also our council, businesses, and beyond. And together, I feel that we accomplished that through a series of community forums and meaningful engagement. So one of my fondest memories throughout this process was when we were invited to Mount Zion Church. The reason why we were invited there is that there are many residents that live here in Fitchburg attend that church. So I shared with Redevelopment Resources that I was attending because it's a Sunday, and Dana stepped up and said, "What time is the service?" And was ready to, commit and come to the church. And so we came in our Sunday best. And it was just a phenomenal experience in that the members were, praising and doing worship. And I looked over at Dana while we were out there in our forums, and she was praising and clapping along with the members. And I don't know. That moment just really mattered. And when it was time for the members to come outside the sanctuary and to meet with us, her line was longer than mine. And I think it's really because she really demonstrated meeting people where they are. And I feel like that's been the approach throughout this process. You truly have demonstrated that. I also want to thank everyone that's been a part of this process, council, for your continual support. And then the economic development team that also really helped me, Joyce Frey and Mike Zimmerman, for their leadership and their guidance, and their countless hours of reviewing and strengthening this plan. Another key piece or key team that was a part of this was our diverse steering committee. Mark Hamilton, who brought that CETA lens, was really helpful. Jenny Sanders, who was also on the Housing Advisory Committee, and also a realtor, brought that perspective. Janice Hughes brought that senior perspective and diversity lens and kept us in shape throughout that steering committee. John Seaman also was our newer committee member, and he brought the insights from assessing and also the younger demographics that Julia kind of shared with us, that we really need to have a diverse voice. So we included John, and that really helped us a lot. And Brad Sipple for his planning perspective. And also to our community members who not only committed to doing surveys, but they were there for the forums, and our stakeholders also participated. So all of that input really helped to shape this plan. This plan, again, was approved by Housing Advisory, CETA, and Finance. And then also we opened it up to the community to provide feedback, and we received emails as a result of that. This truly was a collective effort, and I'm proud of what we really created together. And then also I've created a kind of a graphic that kind of outlines some of the initiatives that will kind of move forward after the plan. So with that said, I would like to give it to Dana. Thank you.
Thank you. I actually didn't have any comments to prepare, but it's been a privilege. When the RFP came out and I saw that it was in Fitchburg, a community that I've invested in, like, both socially and economically, I really wanted to work on this project, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a big growth experience, and thank you for your comments, Lorene. And it's just been an honor. So thank you.
Okay, so I opened for questions and comments. Okay, Gabriel.
It's really great to see the updated information because, you know, I think that and the full review that you did of all the different houses, because there's a lot of housing conversations that are happening and plans that the county put together, and I thought it was great to see that. And I really loved the comparison as well to the other neighborhoods. I feel like it's really nice benchmarking when we see where we compare to others. So all the background information, so if anyone's curious about housing in our community, it's got some great background information. And I think the goals are spot on. I like that they're straightforward and that they're flexible enough to allow us to implement them in the way that we best see fit. But we have a lot of work to do, but we have funding available. We have staffing now that we didn't have a couple of years ago before Lorene joined us. And I think we can make a lot of progress on housing, and we can help. And I'm excited to have a well-researched plan to back up some of that action that we'll be taking in the coming years, and really excited to see what we can accomplish.
So I want to make a comment about that. I love the idea to have a dashboard, you know. I like to see the metrics because that one, it will determine if we are making any progress, and also we are putting the plan in good use. Because sometimes, you know, we put together plans, we put it on a shelf, and we forget. And I think housing has been one of my priorities since I became mayor. It's going to be a big priority for my second term. So having this plan is going to be a guide for all of us, how to move forward. But I also like to have that dashboard. And I have a couple of questions, or maybe to, you know, now that the SB 480 was adopted by the governor, maybe we should add that as another in the section here. Where is? Let me see. On page 269 of the plan, you know, when we talk about public and private development toolkit, if we can add to the toolkit this new bill, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be another financial tool that we can use to build more workforce housing in the future if we use it. But at least we have that tool now that we didn't have it. So that one is one. And then the other question that you mentioned in the plan is we need to look at our fees, you know. So this is a question maybe for the council. Maybe this is something, an exercise that we need to do maybe when we go through the 2027 budget. I would say that the ideal time to revise the fee, to determine which fee, we should take a look about, because it's not comparable to some of the other, municipalities surrounded by us, so that one is, I think we always say that we need to revise our fee. I have heard that for many years, and I think it's time that we determine this, okay, where are the fees that we think that they are, out there, they are not like comparable. So that one is something that we should be doing by the budget time. What else? That's it. I think this is a great document to follow. For the other thing I want to tell you for council members, that they have new council members, that when we put together the 2019 housing plan, I remember I was very involved with that plan. I think we follow the plan. We use the plan, and I think most of the metric or the goal that we in 2019 that we were part of that plan, I think we accomplished. This is what we decided. It was time to say, okay, what is next now? How we move forward? And I think this is going to be a great guide for us moving forward. So I want to say thank you to the consultants. I think they were very easy to work, and you got our needs as a community. You understood that from day one. So okay, Bill?
Yeah, I'll just kind of echo what the two of you have said. I think this is a great plan. It's got some clear and actionable goals, objectives, and policies within it. A great amount of research went into it, and I very much appreciate the comparison of all of our, and the scenario with the housing development compared with all of our neighboring municipalities. I thought it was very enlightening how some of the fees are very high in one place and very low in another, and it all kind of washes out in the end for the most part. And I will go ahead and plug one more time. My favorite part of this is the transit-oriented development, prioritizing residential and mixed-use developments along transit lines. That is the smartest way to grow a city.
Okay, Micah.
Yeah, I actually have like one or two questions. In the report, it mentions that there's this disconnect between the beliefs around our approval process for development being long and unwieldy and difficult, and a statistic that we are actually one of the fastest approval processes in the county and the region. Can you speak to where that disconnect might be coming from, or what we could do to address it, or how we can kind of change that perception?
So I am going to turn it over to Kristen Fish-Peterson, who's joined us online. She can speak to that point.
Sure, thank you. Real briefly, developers like to complain, and I think that sometimes they just they want the process to be faster, they want it to be more efficient. So whether it's perceived or real, to them, they just wanted the process to be more efficient. So I don't know that, the statistic that we saw in the research is that Fitchburg has one of the fastest approval times. They still want fewer hurdles and an easier approval process, but you have to check the boxes that you have to check for your process. So I think it's a perspective.
And I think that's important to keep in mind in the fees conversation as well, too. I assume that all developers want lower fees as well, and that is something that you have to strike a balance with. Okay. Just two things that popped out to me in reading this. One, the goal around financial readiness workshops. I think, so UW Extension used to run these, and so I know I used to do financial coaching for people who were going to get Habitat homes, and they were paired with a financial coach, so that might be worth just looking into, so we're not reinventing financial readiness workshops from scratch. So that's just something I used to be involved in. And then one thing that really popped out to me while I was reading this that I thought of around, we have a lot of places that we could put resources to help people acquire more affordable housing. another side of that is that there are probably 15 to 40% of people that qualify for other forms of programs like Medicaid or SNAP or Affordable Care Act subsidies that don't take advantage of them. And if they were to take advantage of those, would open up resources from their just regular job they might have for housing. And so I know we have like neighborhood navigators and resources and things like that, but just thinking about ways that we could allow the community to take advantage of those other programs could also indirectly affect their ability to acquire housing as well. It's just like something to keep in mind. So, but other than that, I echo everything. This is it's a great plan, and I really appreciate all the work that went into it.
I just wanted to add, in regards to the financial readiness, we have been in conversation with Summit Credit Union that is willing to also do that.
Great.
The other resource, which Summit might tell you about, because I believe they're a sponsor, is Home Buyers Roundtable of Dane County. They do workshops, and they're great. So even just bringing their workshop to places in Fitchburg that is easy access for Fitchburg residents would be great.
Okay. Okay, so we have Logan.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for your comments, and to our consultants for putting this report together. I'll note that I had to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to find even the smallest of details that I could even question or ask about, which I think speaks to the depth of effort that you put into this report. A couple of things I just want to call out for the good of the room. I appreciate how much work went into trying to get survey results that are more representative of our community. As some of the data show, we are a majority renter community, and our population skews younger. Unfortunately, some of the responses to the survey skewed older and toward the owner-occupied sector of the housing market, which I think is generally who we see responding to these types of surveys. But I just wanted to acknowledge that, while also saying I have no hesitation whatsoever that I believe it was for a lack of effort by Dana, Kristen, Joyce, Mike, Lorene, anybody's part. One data point that I think would also have been nice to have is when I was reading through the survey results again, there were several times where the data were a little bit kind of inconsistent, where people said we want bigger yards and more space, but we also want more affordable housing. So I think it would have been nice to drill down into that one more level and say, how much more would you be willing to pay to have a quarter-acre lot versus a 10,000 square foot acre, or 10,000 square foot lot, to really get to the point of where do people put their money where their mouth is, if you will. I mean, I would love a lot of things in life that I can't afford. So I think that was one point that maybe we as elected officials and city staff need to keep in mind, and hopefully, maybe there's some ways we can drill deeper into that to kind of balance out those two conflicting data points. I also loved the idea of kind of the modern day equivalent of the Sears catalog home, where we have the kind of pre-approved housing plans. I think that is something that would make housing more attainable for folks who want smaller housing, especially. We certainly don't have that post-war 2-bed, 1-bath, 1,200,000 square foot housing, which I'm also glad to see with the residential tax increment district legislation that was passed. One thing I wanted to ask about that specifically was, even though it's not in this plan and probably can't be included because of how recently that legislation was passed, I don't know if it's Dana, Kristen, Lorene, anybody want to chime in on how you think we can best use that legislation and complement it with some of these goals in the plan? Is there something that was not captured in the plan that, now that we have this tool specifically, that we should be thinking about whether or not it is represented in this plan?
Mike, I may bring you up here for that.
While Mike is walking up, we are about to get some heavier rain We still are under shouldn't say just, but we are under a severe thunderstorm warning. And it'll be increasingly difficult to actually hear once the rain starts hitting the metal roof. So I would recommend moving to recess at that point in time. And then I think it might be best just to relocate down to the basement just to err on the side of caution in case something were to develop. So I would anticipate in the next couple of minutes that recess coming.
Okay. Thank you. We're excited about the residential TID for housing bill being passed. That's an important item that we can add to our toolkit. We're hoping maybe that we can be one of the first communities in the state of Wisconsin to use that program, especially with the Gorman proposal. They were just at our development team meeting today trying to line up their Article 3 to be kind of the first step to move that hopefully project along with them coming back to council. So we're excited that we think that we could quickly utilize that as we evaluate that proposal from Gorman and everything, and hopefully we can replicate that then elsewhere around the city for it. And it aligns with a lot of our goals as far as the smaller lots, and also we were kind of excited to hear today to your comment about the kind of the Sears catalog homes there, that Gorman is kind of going to have, I think he said like 8 or 9 different kind of elevations and 4 or 5 different footprints to have kind of as a choice that prospective home buyers could select as part of that. So.
Okay, any
Thanks,
other
Mike.
question?
One more.
Okay.
I had one more.
Okay.
Just on the down payment assistance program, one quick comment. I thought that 90 days to get an accepted offer on a property seemed pretty short, just given our crazy housing market. And I wanted to ask if there was a way when we get to the details of this that we could eliminate the requirement that the repayment of the down payment assistance be required if refinancing, because I think that would disincentivize somebody from refinancing to get a lower rate. If they could get a 1% lower interest rate if their rates drop, that would be kind of then a disadvantage to them. And if we're trying to make housing affordable, that would be kind of giving somebody a tough choice. So that's looking down the road, but just something I wanted to include now and see if that's something we can address.
I would recommend absolutely being flexible in that way with homeowners who are taking advantage of that program. You would want to analyze the circumstances of the refinance, but make sure that, you know, if it's a cash out refinance and they have the equity, and you know there are a lot of check boxes that you could check, but once they transition the property or sell it, that's when you want to get your money back. I guess I would highly recommend that you don't just grant this money, that you make them pay it back when they sell the home.
Okay, so now is the time, so I need a motion to recess.
Do you want to vote quick? Or?
Oh, okay. Are you ready to vote? Yes, okay. Okay, all those in favor of resolution R-1926 say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carried. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now I need a motion to recess for at least 10 minutes.
I moved to recess until we can hear again.
Second.
All those in favor of to go to a recess, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. Hello, everyone. So I need a motion to reconvene.
I move we reconvene into open session.
All those in favor of reconvening the meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
We are on. So next we are going to discuss on the Park Commission, if we can move forward with resolution R-6426.
Approval of resolution R-6426, moving Fitchburg forward a strategic urban forestry management plan as amended by Tree Advisory Committee.
Second.
Did the Park Commission approve?
Park Commission approved.
Did the Tree Advisory Committee approve?
Tree advisory approved.
Okay, so Dave, you're going to do an introduction, or Anna? Or
I will let Anna.
Is Anna here?
Is Anna still
Oh,
here?
no, Eric.
here
No?
as well,
Eric.
Mayor.
Eric.
Yeah.
I
Eric
think
is
Anna.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So,
Yep, I apologize. I was going to say we're experiencing the same weather here in Marshall that you guys are experiencing in Fitchburg. So I'll do my best to speak up. But the drafting of this plan was initially started in 2025. What the goal of this plan is to better allocate planning and future resources for urban forestry development, preservation, and hopefully what we can do to allocate resources to continue the urban forestry system that we have here in Fitchburg. So this plan has been solicited for public surveys. We did have a draft of this plan at Parks Commission as well as Tree Advisory, of which the draft was reviewed by those committees and commissions, and then also solicited a period around there as well for public comments on the draft to make any revisions to it. What this is the final version of this plan and hopefully adoption of it. Within that plan itself, it is a very comprehensive document. So if there are any specific questions regarding the plan, I am going to rely on Rich Howard from EOC. He was the author of this plan along with staff input. So with that being said, are there any initial questions or should I turn it over to Rich?
1 second. I need to, we have one person in the chamber that he wishes to speak in opposition. And also want to mention that we received more than 20 emails in support. Common Council, we received more than 20 emails between yesterday and today in support of this resolution and 1 email against. So, for the record. Yeah. Okay, so Patrick Cheney.
This is really all just about the McGaw Park Woods and its unique hiking trail system enjoyed by many, and is a long-standing disagreement between one city staff employee versus all the neighbors around McGaw Park. A prior council and mayor passed R-17-18 as a compromise, and that has held for all this time. Why don't you have R-17-18 in this policy for background so you see the whole true picture of this situation? This council passed R-220-24, it's on page 42, and broke a compromise agreement listening to one employee recommendation. That says, just create a policy and then all of McGaw Woods can be cleared despite solid neighbor opposition. If this passes tonight, watch how fast the equipment starts cutting and clearing McGaw Park Woods. Why don't these 74 pages contain the written public comments to read to show their real views on this policy? Why were these suppressed from public review? EOC was even willing to and offered to include these comments. Do each of you have these comments and read them? This resolution needs to be amended on 2 points or delayed until all council hears more and sees for yourself, or just fail this now and decide what to do moving forward on this contentious, long-argued topic. Pass this resolution with an amendment to reestablish the compromise of limited to 2 areas as before, with no further work allowed, or delay and listen to constituents and visit and see the unique value of this largest public woods. This was supposed to evaluate these 2 areas. Have each of you evaluated the current state? All of council are elected to represent your constituents and control projects and direct staff, or explain when did that go the other way around. Direct staff to work on other parks with local approval and to not destroy the largest public woods and the only unique trail system. First, amend to continue the agreement compromise of R-17-18. What harm in continuing as is? I have a standing offer to meet with to walk these trails with anyone on council to see its valued features. Decision makers should hear not just one side and go with that. Am I getting cut off or can I finish this?
You can finish.
Okay. Thank you. Do you recognize the required annual maintenance needed for every area cleared and the expense? Then the other amendment, section 54-80 on page 46 is illegal. No city employee has that authority. Why would a low-level employee have this? Even the police, the fire department, building inspectors do not have this right. Ask the former police chief, and the current police lieutenant, if they have that right. This section must be rescinded and eliminated. Who wrote this anyway? There is more to this than one woods policy plan. Council needs to take the time to look into this before acting. I did check the box on the form for questions. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Okay, so next we move to Richard Howard. If you want to present the plan.
Sure. Well, you have in your packet the strategic plan that was started last June through a lot of different community engagement events. First, I want to say actually thank you very much, the city of Fitchburg, for allowing us to be part of this development of this plan, and also for the heavy engagement of the Tree Advisory Committee, staff of the city of Fitchburg, citizens of city of Fitchburg to provide comments with a public survey, along with several rounds of public engagement meetings. And there's a lot of many highlights in this plan about the state of the urban forest in the city of Fitchburg. First and foremost, your tree diversity. It's amazing. Actually, if you look at the national statistics of tree diversity, Fitchburg is actually a model. There's very few tree species that actually exceed kind of diversity goals of not be overrepresented by about 5%. Your tree canopy, it's growing. The plan here, along with past actions, your tree canopy has grown in the last decade from about 19% to nearly 25%. If you keep doing what you have been doing, you should be on track to meet your goal of 30% canopy by 2030. You've got an active GIS inventory to maintain and monitor your tree population. You've got an active tree advisory committee. I was fortunate to be a part of their committee on several occasions to see them in action, along with consultation with them on this plan. Also, just the engagement of the community per se on just, for example, upcoming Arbor Day project. This year, past years, of just the citizens that are really engaged. The plan itself has laid out 5 goals, and we used this plan of following past plans in the city of Fitchburg where you have goals and you have objectives and then you have some sort of strategy to get there. So we followed that. We came up with 5 different goals. One is basically the first one, goal 1 is metrics. This is really how to evaluate your program over time in the future. Those are really important. The other part is industry standards. And so when you're managing a tree population, we do have some amazing industry standards. For example, the A300 Tree Care Standards Committee has recommendations on how to go about doing tree care activities with public tree populations, along with guidelines of various best management practices for tree care. So integrating those industry standards is an important part with the goals in number 2. Number 3, certainly, as you heard from the past speaker, there's some past woodlot goals that have been passed by the council. So one of the goals here is to implement past practices that have been adopted. The other goal is integration. So integration of existing city goals. So we laid out various objectives on how to go about doing that. And the final one is really involvement of the community. So involvement of the community in various ways to move the urban forest forward. And to summarize, the plan has many recommendations. We were able to do a couple different types of benchmarking. I was an author of the 2014 Municipal Tree Care Activity Study, where we're able to look at communities where they're at in 2014. Fortunately, I was able to, with really I don't want to say, how can I say it? From Micah going, could you possibly get the 2025 statistics that we've been working on to update the 2014? So I was able to pull that one off with his encouragement, I should say. And so in the back of this report actually compares Fitchburg with comparable cities in Wisconsin in the population group of 25,000 to 50,000 to give you an idea where the city of Fitchburg. I'm actually really amazed at everything you get done with the staffing levels you have and the resources that you allocate. And put in perspective, from just an FTE perspective, you're about 2 to 3 FTE below comparable peer communities in Wisconsin. And the last thing is budget. You're about a third below comparable peers. So I think that's kind of a noteworthy. If you look at some of the recommendations in this plan, really, you've got some amazing staff that are really passionate, from public works, parks, along with your city forester and naturalist. And so you've got many things laying out in this plan that I'd be happy to ask or answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Also, I want to ask Anna. Where is Anna? Anna, because you're kind of like part of this department, and you're in charge of our trees. So do you want to say something about this plan?
I just want to thank everyone who worked on it. It was definitely a group effort. And, so over the last year, we've really been doing a lot of community outreach and working with the Tree Advisory to come up with this plan. I just wanted to thank Rich for all of his help getting it together and doing such a great job with the public outreach, and also the Tree Advisory Committee for their diligence and looking over various drafts of the document, making some really great suggestions, and everyone's contribution really made the document much better. And so I just want to thank everyone, and I think it's a really great path for the next 5 years.
Thank you. Okay, so we are going to open for questions, and I have a couple of questions to ask. I don't know if some of you want to go first, but I have a couple of. One of my question is in page 28. We talk about the total forestry budget, and I want to know that $177,000 from which budget is coming, because I was looking at the 2026 budget, and we allocated $217,000 to the forestry budget. So I don't know if those numbers are from the 25 or 24. So I want to, because it seems kind of low for me, that number, when I saw it. So, and then I check with the budget. So I don't know, Richard, do you know the number is?
Yeah, the number is prior to your most recent budget that was allocated for forestry. And you could use the $217,000 allocation to make comparison, and you'd still be about 40% below your peers from a comparison.
Okay.
I think the neat thing that I saw over the last year was where you didn't necessarily have a line item budget, where you now do have one for forestry that, to this level. I think that is encouraging from a perspective of showing the dedication of the city to the forestry efforts.
Okay, thank you. Also on page 29, there is another table 4, and you mentioned that, we are doing good and have a 30% of canopy goals by 2050. So I know that we have an idea how many trees we are planting. This year we are going to plant 236 trees. This is what is the number. So what is the number that we should be planting? What is the ideal number of trees that we need to plant per year, if money is not an issue?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't actually have a good answer for you right now, and I should, because I model canopy growth. I could say, if you look historically at the trees that you've been planting, along with the losses you've had in the community from emerald ash borer, that if you keep the current status of the planting you're doing, attaining that goal is very realistic when I was doing some behind the envelope calculations.
Okay. So that one is something, because as I was put our budget for the next couple of years, we need to have an idea how much money we need to allocate for trees, and what is that ideal number. I know that Anna does a great job always looking for grant for trees. This is another thing that maybe, I don't know if you included in your calculation is the amount of money that we get through grants to plant trees, because, I don't know, it's part of this $217,000. I want to be not $177,000. So that one is my other question that I want to have some clarification is.
I don't think that would be included in this.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think he would have just been pulling from the budget document.
Yeah.
Whereas
Okay.
then that grant money gets allocated. So yeah, so that is.
But the other thing I want to
understand.
say, because if someone is reading this, they're going to say, this is the $177,000 is practically wages and benefit. So where is the money for tree? So this is something that we need to clarify, that we are planting tree, we are getting a lot of money in grant to plant tree. It's like this is what I want to clarify that.
If I may, Richard, before you respond to that, sorry to interrupt, but also developers are required to provide tree or payment for trees as part of new developments as well. So that is also factored into how the city obtains funding to plant trees.
Okay.
And I just did a quick calculation on. Well, go ahead.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
I just did a quick calculation. If you're about 250 to 300 trees a year, you've got about 15,000 public trees. At 2% mortality, you'd need about that level just to maintain the mortality rate. And we didn't study actually the mortality rate, and I don't know if Anna, if you have an idea of your annual mortality with your tree population, but just that would give you a background, like 216 trees, you're kind of at that spot where you should be planting that level just for natural attrition. And I also commend the city for all the active grants you've actually done to build the capacity of tree planting externally.
Okay. So
Just a question though. I think we actually do like 250 or so in the spring and then 250 more in the fall, plus the ones that are new with development. So I don't know what the total number of trees is, but I think it's north of 500 annually.
It's between 400 and 500 every year, and most of that is a new development and is paid for by developer deposits.
Okay. So the question is, for me, it's very important to understand which is the number of trees that we need to budget every year. You know what I mean? Like, besides the developer, this is for another conversation, but I think we need to have that number. On page 34, in goal number 1, it will be great to have like a dashboard. It will be great to have like a dashboard of the progress that we're doing planting tree. You know what I mean? So for future, we can determine, in the last 10 years, and we can have something visual, like a graphic. Because, like we have done X, I don't know. That one will be great. I don't know how difficult it is to put together one second, I have a couple before I forget. Also on page 34, when we talk about effort, I have a question, I don't remember. When we talk about through the annual planning and budgeting, do we incorporate the tree in the CAP or no, or this budget? We consider the tree like an inventory, like an asset?
Operating budget,
We don't consider like a fixed asset.
Right, and we'd have to spend over $10,000 a year for CIP.
Okay. That one was kind of like, 1 second, before I forget. Okay. So the other thing I want to mention is the resolution 1718 that when it was put together way back, I think something that we had to remember is like, this plan is more about the good lot. It's about the entire canopy of tree that the city has to maintain and protect. And also I remember, because I was part of that council that we approved that resolution, there is a paragraph there that is say that we're going to revise this resolution in 5 years. So, and I think this is what we're doing now, revising what happened 5 years. We did with Region 1 and 5. Now is it time to go to revise, the other region in the Mago woodlot plan. But the other thing I want to mention, no one is going to go and remove trees. What we're trying to do is protect the trees, removing the invasive species. That's it. I am done. Who is next?
Can I just make one quick comment about love the points about like the goals for when we're tree planting. The number that really jumps out to me in this table is, when we're looking at budgeting, is that 90% of our tree care is reactive and not proactive. And that our current pruning schedule is 7 years when we want it to be 5 years. And so it's one thing to ensure that we're planting more and more trees, but it's also, we also to make sure that we're maintaining the ones that we already have and taking care of them. Because that will also reduce the rate of them dying, which helps the canopy as well. But other people ask questions if they have.
Okay. Who's next? Bill. And then Logan, you're next? Okay.
I guess I want to say that I like the layout of this plan with with our goals and objectives and policies, and I think we're in a pretty good place with those various goals, objectives, and policies. I like what I read here, and a plan like this really kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out of future staff decision-making. You know, I like the fact that we have everything written down, and I hope we can all agree that the things that are written down are worthwhile. I guess I had another point here with our existing GIS map with our tree inventory in it. There are attributes in there for condition and height and diameter at breast height, but there's no date that goes with that assessment. And I can't imagine we're measuring 15,000 trees every year. So I guess, do we have that information kept and it's just not displayed? Or is that something that we need to like add to our collection going forward? And similarly, there's no estimate of, you know, the year that the tree was established. So
date and yeah, we have planting date and we have inventory date. So, and the inventory date is updated every time we visit the tree and take those measurements.
okay. Can that be added to the map?
Sure. I have to talk to Dakota. I don't know the ins and outs of why, you know, what attributes he has showing on there. If it's not difficult, you know, I'll ask him. If it's not difficult, I'm sure he could do it.
That was it.
Okay, Logan.
All right. As I pull up my notes here, I guess one of the things as a newer council member I would like to hopefully get some clarification on is our existing woodlot management policy and how it relates to this document. Essentially, do we have one policy that says every woodlot that is on city property will be maintained in the same way? Or is that more dependent on our individual goals for, you know, if we want to do one thing for McGaw versus we want to do something else for Dawley versus we want to do something else for another part of town?
Okay.
We don't have a woodlot policy for that that captures the entire city.
Okay. Would that be something then that would be an outcome of this forestry plan would be to create said plan?
Yeah, I mean, we really should have one.
I'm here, Logan,
Yeah,
as
that's-
well. Within goal 3 on page 36, it is listed that we would develop woodlot management policies. Now, I would assume we would have nuances and specifics for each woodlot as each one has unique characteristics, but that is listed as one of the specific goals. Again, page 36 for reference on the plan.
Okay. One other comment that I was hoping we could, or a change I hope we could make was for objective 3.3, the language we currently use,
Which page?
I believe it's page 36. Let me find it here. 36, thank you, Alder, a lot to say. We say, let me go back to my notes. Assist private landowners with woodlot management. And it's clear what the intent and what that looks like by reading further into that objective. But one of the things I think I'd prefer to see would be to change that language slightly to say assist private landowners with making decisions about woodlot management, just to make it clear that it is not the goal of the city, it is not something the city has the capacity or the desire to do to maintain woodlots on private property. I just think that a couple extra words could make that clear that our goal is not to take over every tree in the city of Fitchburg, whether a property owner likes it or not. And then one question I had as well was I just wanted to get some clarification about our ordinances, about what Patrick had mentioned earlier, section 5480 about interference with city forest or prohibited. And I'm just curious how that applies and what the original intent, if anyone knows, is for that, and how that fits into the general practice and policy of our forestry program and et cetera.
I can speak to that because we discussed it. Let me find the ordinance page with the ordinances on it. So 54, or what was it?
It's section 54-80.
Okay, so 54-80 is the interference with city forester section. But if you look at 54-78, which is just above it, that outlines the authority of the city forester within the city. So that basically, it essentially says they're allowed to maintain public forest trees, and then it outlines the process by which, if something is on private property but is a public nuisance, so if a tree is dead and hanging over a public path, like how you would go about contacting that homeowner and enforcing them taking care of that tree. So 5478 outlines the authority of the city forester within the city, and then 5480 basically just says, well, the city forester is enforcing their authority under that ordinance, there is not interference. And there's also, 5479 is how you would appeal any determination that the city forester made. So that is kind of how that is outlined. It is not to say that the city forester is allowed to do anything they want and you are not allowed to interfere with them in any way.
That was the clarification I was hoping for. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, I have another question. On page 66, there is a table. The table doesn't have a name, so a title. So these data that we are looking are coming from the 2022-20 census, but I don't know what is the, it should be, the table should have like a title, you know what I mean? And also, why there is a misspelling about Middleton, and why Sun Prairie is not comparable here?
I can probably say, I won't make Rich speak to this. This is what I was bugging Rich to put in over and over again as part of this process. So, and I thanked him for doing this, but this got put in towards the end. So that's probably why there's a typo in it. Because this got put in like right at the end of the process.
But why Sun Prairie is not one of the comparable city when?
That is a good question. Maybe because I'll let Rich speak to that.
Yeah, first of all, I apologize to people of Middleton for misspelling their name, and that I hope they take no offense. I'm actually with someone today that's actually I'm in Buffalo, Wyoming. That's actually from Middleton, so hopefully they'll still hang with me. But yeah, thank you for actually pointing out something that I would just criticize my students when I was a professor. You don't have a table title, so thank you for pointing out something that is so elementary that should have been there. And if it's possible to put that in the final copy. If that's just editorial, consider it done.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a comparison from statistics from 2025 through a national survey, and I just pulled out Wisconsin communities, and there's some data that communities didn't respond on, so that's where there's some missing data.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Since you're on that table, what is the difference between employees' total number FTE and employees' full-time equivalents? I don't understand those two columns.
So sure. Use like the city of Fitchburg. So you have 6 FTE, but not all their time is allocated towards forestry. So if you look at Anna, her job is one FTE. Yeah. So that's the comparison right there. So and you look at like Wauwatosa, where they have 12 FTEs. They reported they had 12 employees and 12 FTEs. I think if I talk to Wauwatosa, I don't think they have 12 people practicing forestry, but that's what they said.
Okay. Yeah, some of these numbers seem wild to me. I was like, West Bend has 10 people working in forestry. I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah. And
parks, I bet.
Yeah, I might be defining parks as forestry, yeah.
Okay, David, do you have a question?
Well, back to 5480, the first paragraph, that ends with not interfering, I'm fine with. Private property is a big deal with me. Our country was one of the foundations of our country. And if you don't want someone on your property, you don't have to allow them. I don't think we should have this in there that, they leave the property owner a message on their phone and then we have the right to walk through their yard to get back to the woodlot. I don't agree with that. Private property is private property. It's yours. You own it. And it's yours to decide who you let on it. So I have a trouble with that, and I think the police do too.
Other Herbs, I would just add that this ordinance does not authorize the forest or any city staff to violate any constitutional protections that anyone has related to private property. As Alder Latase very well summarized the ordinances, generally speaking, this can only be utilized when there is a true public safety issue related to a tree on private property. And an example of that, as Alder Latase had mentioned, is there's a tree on private property that is overhanging a city-owned bike path, for instance, that people may use, wanting to make sure that if that tree is a public safety hazard, that hazard is addressed. That doesn't necessarily mean maybe removing the entire tree. Maybe it's a branch, obviously, that needs to be removed. And clearly, I know Anna is aware of this and very cognizant of it. We would want to do all that we can to work with the property owner to have that public safety issue addressed, and would potentially, and I will emphasize potentially, utilize the authorities granted under this ordinance in very, very limited and narrow circumstances, and with much thought and deliberation amongst not only Anna and her department, including Eric, but I would also expect that administration be looped in to that conversation if we were looking to enter private property to address a public safety hazard.
You're inferring an intent, though. You know, these are the words I read the words. You know, I understand our intentions are very well laid out, but you look at it and say, yeah, they can. You know, I see how these things go. I'm opposed to that, but I don't think it'll.
I also just want to point out that this is the ordinances in here are an appendix to this plan. They are just the current city ordinances. We are not changing, updating, or adding any ordinances via this plan. So this is just in here as an appendix.
Yeah,
so like if we wanted to change current city ordinance,
We
that
have
would be
to-
a separate process by which we would then go about doing that. So this is just in here as a reference.
And based on the citation, particularly under section 50-80 on page 46, that citation or comparable ordinance 2009, that generally means that when the city went ahead and electronically codified its ordinances and made them available on the city website, that ordinance was already in place in 2019 or 2009. So this ordinance has been around for at almost 20 years at least at this point. Whether or not it should be changed, obviously, is a common council call. But again, this is narrowly defined when you look at all the sections to deal specifically with public safety related matters and nothing else.
I have another question first. So I want to understand, I don't know where in the plan is, but I read it, that said that we don't have a certified arborist, but we have a forester. So can you explain, Anna, the difference between the two? What is a certified arborist? Or are you a certified arborist? I am confused. I always thought that you were, you know what I mean? Can you explain? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm a certified arborist by the International Society of Arboriculture. Is that we don't, the people who actually do most of the tree work, pruning and things like that, they are not certified arborists. And the plan is suggesting it would be a good idea to get the park maintenance workers who do that kind of work should also be certified.
Okay. Now I get it. Okay. I was confused. Okay. The other thing that I want to mention is, we mentioned that we are under staffing by 2 people, and looking forward at budget in the future. Have you discussed in your meeting, because I didn't attend the meeting, so I am curious if any of the meeting that you discuss this plan, have you ever discussed about creating or implementing a fee to cover some of the expenses? You know, some other municipalities, they have like a forestry fee or charge. Have you discussed that?
We haven't discussed it. I know this urban forestry fee or something of that nature that's on the water bill. We've never discussed that.
Okay.
And there are some communities in Wisconsin that are funding the urban forestry program through, like, for example, stormwater, that the urban forest holds stormwater. So as part of that offset of holding stormwater, forestry is funded that way. Milwaukee and Green Bay are two examples.
Through a stormwater?
Yeah, so the idea is, so part of the stormwater revenues that come into the city are allocated towards forestry, since forestry, the urban forest has an impact on holding back stormwater that you're not treating in stormwater treatment plants.
Do you know which communities those are? Because I've had this conversation during budgets,
Yeah,
and I was told I could not use stormwater dollars for it, so I'm very curious about this.
Yeah, both Green Bay and Milwaukee.
Thank you.
And Racine.
Racine also, okay, thanks.
And Racine, okay. Okay, something that we should look at.
Yep, that's on my...
Okay, any other question, comments? Yes.
I just have a couple things to say. So I was in tree advisory for this whole plan as it got made. So I've heard from a lot of people, both for and against this plan. So this, what we've created is the urban forestry management plan for the entire city. So it's a framework for how we're managing woodlots in the city. It really, really is not the McGaw Park Woods Management Plan. It just isn't. There's no budget allocation. There's no capital project tied to this plan. There are no dollars being allocated. Any actual work, we can see our budget in this plan. Any actual work that would happen in McGaw Park in the future would have to come through a future budget proposal or a future CIP proposal. And if we were to have those proposals, what I would want to see would be to not just remove invasives, but also to replant and manage and have enough budget in the future to replant and manage the appropriate species in there. Because otherwise we're just going to remove all the invasives, and 5 years from now there's going to be a bunch more invasives in there. So there's no point in doing it if we don't have the dollars to actually manage the forest going forward. So it really is not just about McGaw Park though. And I do really like the trail system in McGaw Park. I love the fact that we have a city park that has hiking trails in it that you don't feel like you are in the city. But it's our choice as to how we define and maintain those trails. We can remove invasives and we can make it a priority to also maintain trails in those systems by what we plant and what we replace the invasives with. Like, it doesn't just have to look like Johnson Park because we decide it's going to look like Johnson Park. We can decide we want to have trails in there, and we can facilitate having a trail system in there. Like, that is our choice when we design these projects. But the science on invasive species is clear. It's not up for debate. It's not ambiguous. Honeysuckle and buckthorn choke out forests. They suppress trees. They're going to destroy the woods that are in there if you leave them. They will kill all of the trees, and then we will not have anything in there to protect. It's just going to slowly choke everything else away. Like, that's what they do. And so I value the neighbors that live next to a park, but McGaw Park is one of our two largest flagship parks that are there for the entire city to use. And 80% of the survey respondents in the survey that we sent out said that we should remove invasives and either remove them or remove them and replace them with native vegetation. That is an overwhelming majority of the city. And I understand that there is opposition to that from people that live near McGaw. I want to say that I have received communication from people that live directly next to McGaw that also support removing invasives from McGaw Park specifically. And so I absolutely value neighbor input, but it's one of many inputs, and it's not a veto over what we do in the city. And so, like, when we're looking at Kids Crossing later, we're not going to tell everyone that only people that live within a half a mile of McKee Farms Park get to have a say in what Kids Crossing looks like when we redesign it, just because they're the ones who live next to it. That's not how we manage parks, and it's not how we're going to do things. So I appreciate all the work that went into this plan. I want to just thank Rich and Anna and the tree committee for putting it together. So I'm just looking forward to passing it. And like I said, if we implement recommendations from this plan, it will be through a future budget or through a CIP, not just because someone decides it.
Okay, talking about that, my expectation when we put together this, that we will have an idea how much it's going to cost to do the woodland management plan. And I don't see it in this plan. You know, to have an idea how much it's going to cost, because we need to put it in the CIP eventually. I don't know.
I think from talking to Anna and Eric about this, I think that is their intention, is to get that cost together and put that as a proposal as part of the CIP. That's my understanding of what Eric is planning to put together.
The plan.
That would be correct,
Then you
Mike.
can, then
So
you can
within
figure it
that
out.
goal,
Yeah, but usually you put a plan and also
Within that goal.
you put a time frame and put a budget to have an idea. And I think this is what I was planning, that when we talk about management of the woodlot, we are going to have at least an idea how much it's going to cost to manage this. You know what I mean? That's it. Okay. Eric, go ahead.
To Micah's point, I think that would be outlined within Goal 3 and how staff can start working on developing a specific woodlot management policy. Along with that would come approximate costs for implementing such plan. So it would be the goals and intentions to develop those numbers and do further research onto what a woodlot management plan would cost. To his point as well, they would be in following years' operational budget proposals or potentially capital budget improvement plans.
Okay, thank you. Gabriela.
I like the plan. This discussion's been great as well, but I think it's great to have this forestry management plan. We have an outstanding forestry program in the city, which I think is, and to the credit of our staff, that is also always understaffed, much like many of our departments.
Yeah.
You know, many of our departments are understaffed. It's not just forestry, but Anna's an outstanding leader. And Anna, what is your certification? Are you a master arborist? Is that?
Yeah, I'm a board certified master arborist.
Yes. So
And I also have a degree in forestry.
there's very few cities that have a person with Anna's level of expertise. And so when Anna, I trust her assessments in this work, and I think it's outstanding that we have her on staff. Plus, we have Tree City of the World status, which is one of only 2 communities, I believe, in Wisconsin that have that status. And that's because of things like the tree inventory and like the work that we've done to formalize our forestry practices. And certainly this is like another step towards formalizing it and making it more strategic so that we can do things like budget and really move forward in that way. But, and then our tree committee, I served on that during my first year at council, and man, what a powerhouse committee. They are passionate. I mean, there's a lot of passionate committees in the city, but the tree committee is up there in terms of passion. So just really, we do a great job here, and I know we have a lot of work to do, and certainly have a lot of work to be able to budget more towards this, and that's just the budget challenges we face across the board. But we are doing an outstanding job, and that's many people's role. But I did just want to acknowledge that we have a pretty incredible forester in Anna Healy here with us. Thank you.
I agree. Okay. Okay, so any other
Thank you very
question,
much.
comment? The last one, okay?
Yeah, Dave, could you refresh everybody's memory? What was the amendment to this?
What amendment?
Dave moved as amended by Parks.
I've got it here. I pulled it up
Okay,
from
thank
the,
you.
Thanks.
I was trying to find it in my notes.
From the Tree Advisory Committee meeting minutes from the April 9th meeting. It says in the minutes that the motion made by Alder Lattice would include the word plants before species.
Sorry, we accepted Parks as amendments and just changed one word. So you want to
Okay.
see, you probably want to find Parks.
I did look at Parks. and
Okay,
it
yeah,
doesn't,
that's-
it doesn't specify to the
Okay,
detail
Okay.
as this does.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead,
say,
Eric.
I can clarify as well. I have 3 amendments, most of which are grammatical or the inclusion of words, not changing the actual content of the plan itself. The first one would be to add Resolution 45-25 to the appendix. What that resolution was passed in March of 2025, and it was the acceptance of EOC's bid for the development of this plan. The next would be in Goal 3, again on page 36. Objective 3.1 would add the language wildlife, and that section would fully read, implement a city woodlot management policy that manages woodlots for desirable wildlife and plant communities and minimizes undesirable species abundance. The last one being the graphic on page 8. It was requested to add an explanation to that graphic, similar to another example that was brought up before in this meeting.
And I can speak to the tree. Tree just amended the 3.1 to say minimize undesirable plant species abundance to avoid the city being put into a situation where it is managing undesirable wildlife species.
Okay, so we are approving this as amended by Park. Tree.
No, Parks.
Who was first?
Parks was first, I think.
First. And the second, and the tree approved the Park amendment.
That's correct.
And added. Okay, but okay, I am not going to go through the amendment, so okay, so I want to be sure of that. Okay, no, we are closing. Is that in the? No. What do you want to do?
I just wanted to see if anybody else felt that we wanted to introduce the amendments about Objective 3.3 that I mentioned earlier about clarifying the role with private landowners, assisting private landowners rather than with making decisions about woodlot management to clarify staff's role. If anyone else felt that was necessary.
Would the intent of the amendment be to change that word from maybe assist to advise?
That could work as well.
Would that work?
Yes.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Richard, Eric, or Anna, I think that we don't necessarily need a formal motion to make that grammatical change if you're comfortable with it.
Oh, instead of assist
Yes.
to what do you say? Advice? Oh.
We'll relay that to Rich as well, and I don't think we would need a formal recommendation at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Logan. Okay, so all those in favor of resolution R-64-26 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carried. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Eric. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so where we are now? 1 second. Do you have anything to report?
Plan Commission meets next week, Tuesday.
Okay. Okay, so next we move to the Board of Public Works, and we have several there.
Un moment, por favor.
Okay.
All right, I'll move approval of Resolution R-6526, approving the purchase of a Bobcat T-7700.
Second.
A Board of Public Works approved.
Finance approved.
We are purchasing this. This is used predominantly for, my note here, Eric, jump in if you wanted. This is a tracked vehicle, parks for forestry work, tree and stump grinding work. It has tracks, so it sometimes it's a little more helpful on paths. And we are getting $40,000, I think, for the old one that we are trading in. That's the reserve. We'll get at least $40K in this. I believe this was $82,000, Bill. Does that sound right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. 85. Okay. Thank you, Chad.
Okay, and this one was approved in the budget. So
yes. Yeah. All the
so it's nothing new here. Okay. So, any question, comment about this? Here none. All those in favor of resolution R-6526 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Oh, sorry, Jake. Okay, next one.
Move approval of resolution R-7326, authorizing acceptance of 2026 street resurfacing bid.
Second.
Public Works approved.
Finance approved.
Okay, what is this?
So we are awarding this to Payne and Dolan for roughly $1.3 million. I believe it's about 2.6 miles, Bill? Sounds right, 2.6 miles, which is short. As Chad mentioned, there'll be a public information hearing on this on the 23rd at 5 o'clock.
Also 0.3 miles of park paths.
Yeah, thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Can you repeat the number? 1.6, you said?
1.3.
Oh, 3.
2.6 miles, $1.3 million.
Oh, okay.
Actually, the referral sheet indicates 1.5 million, which includes a 10% contingency of 145,000. And there is also a budget amendment as part of this in regards to the Clayton basketball court needing a transfer of $8,000 from the Capital Projects Fund, CIP number 6259, to the general fund to cover the cost of the basketball court under this contract. So that will require a 2/3 vote.
Thank you, Chad. And we asked why on the basketball court the city is doing some of the work, Payne and Dolan's doing some of the work, and there's different contingencies for the different parts of this.
Okay, any question, comments?
I believe this takes 2/3.
Yeah.
2/3.
Okay, so we are going to do the roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Gerhart?
Aye.
Alder Herps?
Aye.
Alder Jetzer?
Aye.
Alder Lattice?
Aye.
Alder Lepper?
Aye.
Alder Ragsted?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Next one.
I move approval of Resolution R7626, purchasing LED street light replacements.
Second.
Public Works approved.
Finance approved.
This is for 171 lights for replacements.
Okay, do we have any saving on this light?
Do we have the savings?
Yeah, like we go there.
You're talking electrical? Electrical
Like-
savings
like-
based on, we should realize, I don't know if Tim would have that information
Okay.
readily available, but yes, we should realize some measure of savings in the cost of electricity versus the existing lights. And total cost of this project is about $62,000, and the city did receive a grant that will cover 80% of the cost of the purchase, or nearly $50,000. So this is significantly funded through grant funding and not city financial resources such as levy.
And part of it also, the specific grant is a carbon reduction grant from the Department of Transportation, and it also helps meet our sustainability goals that were outlined in the sustainability plan.
Okay, any other question?
I have a quick weird question for Tim. Is if neighbors on a cul-de-sac,
I live in the cul-de-sac.
can they request a streetlight be removed? No. If they all wanted it?
Oh, really?
Why not?
Tim, you want me to take
Yeah,
that?
that's something we that's something we haven't had before, but I don't see why not if they're all for it.
I assume we're talking about streetlight. That I know some of our cul-de-sacs have a streetlight right in the center. Is that what we're talking about?
Like the center of the road?
Center of the circle within.
No, well, it's center of it's in somebody's yard, but it's in this. I mean, it shines into multiple houses. Let's say.
I think as part of these LED replacements, Tim, aren't they looking to be, if not dark sky compliant, very close to it, which could also alleviate some of this concern once the light head is actually swapped out?
Yeah, these lights are dark sky compliant, and also we can turn down the brightness on these too. So, in the instance they wanted it removed, we could also just take out the bulb and leave the fixture up if in any instance the city wanted residents change their mind. So.
Thank you. I will relay this information to definitely not my neighbors.
I would just put my former public safety hat back on, and I would be concerned about removal of the fixture or even the bulb. But I think there could be other options available that Tim had mentioned.
Yeah.
I would just add, the LED lights, give you more brightness, less energy used, but they're not the application for everything. And they went through this, Chad is nodding his head on street, the signal lights, that they went to those, and when it got cold and icy, they didn't produce enough heat, and they iced over and people couldn't read them, so it's not a good application for the signal lights. So just side note I didn't need to bring up. Okay. All right.
Thank you for doing so.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of resolution R-7626 say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay.
Move approval of resolution R7726, amending 2026 capital projects fund for the budget for the county underpass.
Second.
Public Works approved.
Finance approved.
Okay, what is this?
So we received a grant, for the engineering on this project, and there's been some changes. At first, we thought it would just be straight across the road. Now we're looking at an angle, and we have some higher engineering costs for this, and that's what we are requesting the funds for that. We're moving $9,600 from other budgets, and this is mostly, I think, for geotechnical borings. Tim can jump in and save me here at any time, but That's what my notes indicate. And again, this is a two-thirds vote.
Okay. So, any other question, comments about this? Okay, so, who has question? Tim, did you want to add anything? Tim, do you want to add anything?
No, Alder Herbst stated it correctly. It's for geotechnical services so that we can continue with the design of the underpass under County Highway MM.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is a roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jetzer.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Regsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Madam Mayor, just a few things from Public Works. Our 2026 sidewalk replacement was advertised Friday last week and plan to open those here at the end of the month. We have the utility improvement project on Crescent Road, the stormwater and street. They're reviewing staff is currently reviewing those bids. Last week, the Tower D pressure test was done. The Goose Lake outlet work is going to bid, and Fitchburg, we're bidding the entire project, but it will be done in two phases. First, Nesbit to the quarry, and then phase two, the following year, quarry to Tonto Trail. We still have two properties that we're needing to acquire or may go to condemnation, and I believe that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so next we are, anything that you want to add for Park Commission?
Yes, I did have one thing. I want to thank Micah and Loga and Eric. We had a draft of the revised community garden, and some residents came forward with questions and things they wanted changed. And Eric reached out to the alders and came up with some good compromises that I think everyone is happy with. And that policy, I believe Eric, is he still on? Be revising that and posting it here.
Okay.
But thank the alders for wanting to get involved with that and coming up with a good outcome.
Thank you.
Correct, Dave. Those will be posted on the website shortly.
Can you share a copy of that with the council so you can share with us?
Yep, absolutely. I'll share the updated one.
Okay, thank you. Library board.
We meet tomorrow. Just want to give one quick reminder that the link cat migration is happening this week. So we are looking at online circulation. Again, reminder that patrons will need to bring their cards for offline checkout. The library was closed today for staff training to facilitate this system upgrade.
Okay, thank you. Commission on Energy Well. Okay, Logan Donald is not here. Resource Conservation Commission.
Yes, we have no meeting in April. We get 10 meetings per year. April and December, we don't have meetings. Just wanted to mention we had, as you talked about earlier, the electronics recycling and paper shredding event. And we collected 5.5 tons of paper, which is about 1 ton more than we collected last spring. And this coming Saturday in the morning from 9 to 11, we've got our waterway cleanup, and then from noon to 4 is the Eco Latinos Environmental Conservation Fair at Hostahoche. And first Thursday of every other month, we have our Green Thursdays event at the library, so we should be having one on May 7th, and that event is still being planned.
Okay, can you send us, when you have what you're going to do that date, can you send us reminders to the council so I can put it on my agenda? Okay.
I will do that.
All right, thank you. On my calendar, sorry. Okay, thank you. So next we move to Transportation and Transit Commission.
Yes, we got updates on a couple of projects that we've already discussed this evening, including the Fitchburg Road reconstruction, the County Highway MM underpass. We also got an update on bus rapid transit funding. That will be a fun one that will be coming forward soon, so TBD on that. We got to hear some interesting B-cycle statistics for 2025. Bike and Ped also got those recently, so worth a watch on that if you're interested. And our bigger item of discussion was the Richardson and Schumann Street intersection with the McKee Park Path, and generally then how we want to approach adding bike lanes or paint or any other sort of traffic calming to that area. That was something that Mayor Frada had heard some comments about and brought forward as a discussion item. So TBD on any action on that. But we did discuss how we want to approach this specific situation and generally how we would want to approach any others that may be similar, i.e. Osmondson Road.
Okay, thank you. Community and Economic Development Authority, Jake.
Yeah, largely our discussion was surrounding the housing study and action plan, but we did get some updates. Q4 hotel room tax revenue was slightly down at about 5%, but apparently that's on trend with other municipalities. Some upcoming stakeholder meetings at roundtables to talk about some commercial development regarding the City in Motion plan and some innovation economy like data centers and emergency industries type of things. We got some updates about TID projects, and then yeah, I'd say that was the most things, and then the venture debt program as well.
Okay, thank you. Ag and Rural Affairs Committee.
We meet next Tuesday.
Okay, thank you. Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission. Okay, Joe is not here. EMS Commission.
We meet on Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Healthy Neighborhoods Advisory Committee. Donald is not here. Housing Advisory Committee. Anything else that you want to add, Gabriela?
Yes, we actually met yesterday and had a great conversation. Lorraine invited Paul Schechter, the executive director of Sunnyside Development, to speak with us. They're a 501c3 nonprofit founded in 2018 for affordable housing, and they recently purchased a 16-unit building on Greenway Cross in the north end of the city that they are intending to. This is the first project they've ever done that they're going to remain the owner of the property permanently, but they are going to keep it affordable in perpetuity. So they actually have a land use restriction agreement to keep it affordable in perpetuity. This is a building that was built in the 1970s, 16 units, 8 one-bedroom, 8 two-bedrooms. Overall, the property is in good shape, but they will do some updates based on the inspection, and then they'll do a ton of sustainability upgrades, which includes heat pumps, solar on the roof, insulation, windows, and they're going to keep they actually have to meet some certain requirements. So they have funding from Dane County, $1.2 million from Dane County, $1 million from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis, and then also a pure loan from a bank just closed with it, and they're going to keep it. I'm trying to remember so 60% of the units are required to be at 50% area median income or less. 4 units are unrestricted for income, and that's a Federal Home Loan Bank loan requirement because they want it to be mixed income. But they likely will. They may very well still go to low income individuals. And then 2 units are reserved for homeless veterans, and they're working with the Veterans Memorial Hospital. They get VASH vouchers, which I can't remember what that stands for, and they also get wraparound and supportive services through the hospital. And around 50% AMI is probably what the rent will be, which is around $1,100 to $1,200 a month. And the fact that they're also doing sustainability initiatives means that their utility bills will come down. And there's no displacement of the residents during the renovations, which is great. But we had a really interesting conversation about the financial model. Like, one of the challenges that they had in acquiring this property is like this was on the open market, and so anybody could have bought this, and it actually had been sold multiple times recently. And when that happens, that's usually when rents spike because the sale increases the value, and then they have to pay the taxes and et cetera. So and the loan, and so they actually had to basically had to put down earnest money to like keep it off the market, to basically reserve it until they could get the grant financing, because there's this like weird in-between period where they don't have the money to buy it up front. They have to get the grant funding, but they have to have the property to get the grant funding. So there's this chicken and egg thing happening that makes it really challenging. And it occurs to me that this could be one of our land banking strategies is actually acquiring buildings, which is what City of Madison does, and preserving these affordable buildings so that they aren't just renovated into something super expensive or just torn down and built something brand new. These are units that can remain affordable in perpetuity, but it takes some strategic work to make that happen. And anyway, it's a great organization. We asked a ton of questions. It was about a 45-minute presentation. So if you're interested in learning more, I did ask about their other projects. They just are recently finishing up a Stoughton project called Greenspire. It's a 92-unit rehab, and it's public housing at 30% AMI or less. Whoa. So this is like people with very low income, mostly senior or disabled, and it's net zero, a completely net zero building, which is very cool. They also did a 24-unit Edgerton senior housing building in Edgerton, also had sustainability features, and they've facilitated the creating permanent co-ops for 3 different co-op communities, and they no longer are involved but they basically create a legal entity that owns the property, and then the residents manage that entity rather than the individuals owning it, and then some of them decides to sell, and then with the sale comes the increased cost. So anyway, really interesting company. It was really great to have them there. Also, we got a department update. Efficiency Navigator, as you mentioned, they did the press conference recently, and then the applications are open. So we'll definitely share that out. We have a pro-housing grant for $600,000 from the federal government for infrastructure. That project must be completed by 2030. So we are looking for ideas about where to use that funding. I'm sure that we have some ideas, but if there's anything else, please reach out to Lorene. Lorene is also working on the down payment assistance program RFP, which will go to Housing Advisory before it comes to council. The Bowman Plaza is set to start in May, so that's going to start soon. And the J.T. Klein project on Nesbitt Road, that part that was 1 building of senior affordable and 1 building of market rate, they're actually going to hold on the market rate building for now, and they're going to move forward with the senior affordable building, and they will proceed with the market rate when economic conditions are suitable. And then the Gusto building, the Newcomb on Seminole and Lacey, is also underway for reference for some of the housing updates there. And then the last thing is the state legislative changes. There was quite a lot of housing bills that were passed. Really exciting news. So the residential TID is some of the biggest news, but they also made it so that you can extend your tax increment districts for 2 years, not just 1 year. So could have doubled our affordable housing fund if we had that back when we extended our TID. So too bad we don't have anyone closing for a while. But anyway, that's a pretty big change. I just sent the council. Ellers had a nice legislative recap for TID that I sent over to you. There's a couple other small things, but those are the 2 big ones. Thanks.
Thank you. Landmark preservation.
No report.
Tree Advisory Committee.
I will move approval of Resolution R6726, approval of Spring 2026 Street Tree Planting Project.
Second.
Okay.
Finance approved.
Okay, what is this?
We are planting 263 trees in the Spring Planting Project. These are in new developments, and many of them are replacements for ash trees that were taken down with emerald ash borer. Hopefully there are 20 species that we are planting, so hopefully that will eliminate some of the problems with ash trees and that we've dealt with in the past.
Okay, so any question, comment? Here none. All those in favor of resolution R-6726, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So
nothing else to report from the meeting. Everything else was devoted to the forestry management plan we already talked about.
So next we move to the Community and Equity Advisory Committee, and no report for now. Yeah, and then report from other commission and committees. Can you for next week?
Sure.
Yeah, because. Thank you. So then we move to standing committees and reports. We're going to start with finance.
So a quick direct report that I got from Misty. There were 2 different treasurers' reports, the updated December 2025 one and the January 2026 in the packet. And then the audit presentation should be at the first finance meeting in June, so that's coming up. And then CIP requests from the departments were due this week, and discussions are starting internally to get that rolling. So we're already into CIP season. And then we can move on to the resolutions. First, I'll move approval of Resolution R6826, Police K-9 Vehicle Replacement.
Second.
Finance did approve. This was up for replacement in 2027, but it needed to be accelerated because there's some problems with the vehicle. $47,900 is the cost of the vehicle, and that is at or below state contract pricing currently, so it's a good price.
We have with us Deputy Chief Matt Laha. So do you want to add anything?
Nothing that Alder Gerhard already covered.
Yeah? Nothing?
No.
Sorry.
In the interest of everybody's time.
Okay. Okay, so this one is a replacement for Chico, isn't it?
Yeah, the K-9 squad.
Okay, yeah. How often do we replace this?
Well, it had been on a 7-year replacement cycle. We're going to up that to a 6-year replacement cycle, just with increased usage of it.
Yeah, okay. Any question, comment? Here none. All those in favor of resolution R-6826, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, sorry, Jake. The motion carries.
I'll move approval of Resolution R7426, approval to purchase replacement firefighting turnout gear.
Second.
Finance Committee approved. This is a standard annual, we replace turnout gear on a rolling basis so that we don't have to replace it all at once. It's $48,700 for 10 sets. These have a 10-year life, and each firefighter, each career firefighter has 2 sets. We're working on getting our part-time firefighters up to 2 sets each. It just takes some time.
And this one was already approved in the budget.
Yes.
So
I'll explain that, later.
So you will see why I say this. Okay, any question, comment? Here none. All those in favor of resolution R7426, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. Okay, so next one.
I move approval of Ordinance 2026-006, amending budget capital improvement plan, purchasing, fixed asset reporting, sale of surplus assets, and public works contracts processes by amending, repealing, and recreating and creating sections 1047, 1068, 10307, 10308, 10309, 10311, 10316, 10366, 10367, 10431, 10446, and 10448 of the Fitchburg General Code of Ordinances.
Second.
Finance Committee approved.
Okay. Thank you. So I don't know if you want Misty to...
I can give it a start.
try? Okay.
But these are a variety of, there's 4 clarifications and there's 15 streamlined processes. The memo really goes into it in pretty good detail. But in essence, like the public contracting process for these big projects like street resurfacing, like the police facility, that will always still go through council and is dictated by state statute. But the city is still committed to transparency, so all of these purchases will be disclosed in this, most of them, probably all of them in the CIP process, in the budget, and also in our finance reports after the purchase is made. So those finance reports that are referred out with the consent agenda, this will all be there. But it's really about streamlining, making sure that things aren't coming to council that is repetitive in nature. We've seen these things in other ways, and it allows more staff approvals. It creates some efficiencies from the staff perspective and also from these meetings, both from finance, public works, and council are usually filled, and there's a ton of resolutions that we don't absolutely have to look at. So that's anything to add, Misty?
I guess the only thing I would add is that the intention is to basically delegate the oversight that everybody's following the rules that you set to staff. Because you guys are already setting the budget priorities. You're already setting what the rules are that we have to follow when we go purchase things, who we have to get quotes from, whether we have to go to bids, all of that stuff. And rather than having the committees in the council make sure that those rules are followed, you'll be delegating that authority or that responsibility to the administrator and the finance director and the department heads. And so the intention is to get kind of that cookie cutter stuff off of the agendas, right? If they followed all the rules, it's straightforward, all these things have been met, it can move forward faster.
And then just to add on, to kind of summarize some of the conversation we had in finance, we did talk, request about which of the resolutions tonight we not see. if this had been approved earlier. And basically the examples, and Misty actually sent an email that's in your inbox right now with the full list and all the details. But for example, that Bobcat T770, we wouldn't have to look at that. The street resurfacing bid, we would continue to look at because that's a publicly bidded project. The LED street light replacements, not necessarily come here, but staff could opt to refer it as a point of interest, or Chad could include it as a sustainability plan update in his report. And then amending the capital funds project for the County Highway Underpass, that would still come to us because it's a 2/3 budget amendment, so any budget amendment is still going to come forward to us. And she kind of lists all of these out. So it's a variety, but there would be quite a few things that would not be on the list tonight had this passed. But we did talk a lot about, and this is kind of my personal opinion, but we did have a conversation with all the finance members about it. Without all of these items coming to council, there is some value in educating the council, like about why we buy public works vehicles and why we plant this many trees. And, there's some educational component to the council. That doesn't necessarily justify continuing to do this repetitive thing, but I think it does put the onus on alders to do more work to educate themselves about what's happening. And so that means if you really want to know everything that the city is purchasing, you really have to dig into the CIP document, you really have to dig into the budget, and then if you really want to know what's happening, you have to read the finance reports on a regular basis in order to do that. And so that's not insurmountable, but it's, in 6 years, my 6 years on council, I've seen a ton of resolutions come through. I've asked, hundreds of questions that I would not have the opportunity to ask at this going forward because those resolutions will not come to council. I still think that there's value in that, and I support this for a lot of reasons and for the streamlining the processes, but I do think we need to be training the alders about that if they want to understand what's happening in the city, they really need to be doing work to during those processes. They should be anyway, but it's like even at a higher level, you need to be doing it. So it's just something that we had a discussion about, and I think is worth stating. And I made a point about how I asked a million questions about electric vehicles over the years, and that I won't be able to ask those questions anymore.
Because I want to tell you, when they come to me for the pre-approval, they're going to continue coming, isn't it, for pre-approval? No.
No, but I also understand the intent of the
I
common
always
council
ask,
and mayor.
and the people put sometime when I have seen in the pre-approval when there is no electric, they put a reason why.
Right. Yeah, we've changed the culture on that within the city,
But I have a question about number 6. I know that I am a control freak, so I want to say it. It's not against you, Chad, but this is what I put in the budget a couple of years ago to have DocuSign. So the mayor can sign this electronically. So, and it's something that, I feel, I am still feel mixed use with that, because if we have DocuSign, the mayor can sign, and those documents, and, and if I would like to, as a mayor, if I would like to have at least a monthly report saying what are the contracts that have been signed. Because I really like to, to sign those contracts, and I like to review those contracts. I read those contracts, and I think that I want to continue at least to understand what are those contracts that the mayor is. I want to know what are the contracts that the mayor will sign.
I can take that if you'd like, Misty. The conversation that we had on the meeting that you and Misty had, Mayor Arata-Frada, to go over these proposed changes, we wanted to be clear that this was not a reflection of your availability, because you are probably, at least in my initial experience in this role, quite accessible and available to have things signed. So this is obviously more forward-looking. And I think one of the other things we also commented about, and Misty, correct me if I'm wrong, that if this is approved as written, we should still be able to have on-base configured in such a way that after the administrator's signature is approved or the contract is approved, it could still be routed to you through the on-base process, and therefore you'd be able to see that contract as well. Am I correct? correct on that, or not?
I'm getting
quite?
into semantics,
Sure.
but so it wouldn't be routed to you for approval, but it could kick off an email to you letting you know that it was signed.
Okay, like the
Similar to
grants,
how,
when
yep,
when
exactly.
when I approve a grant, that the council, say, the mayor approve a grant,
Same idea. And then if you have questions, you
Yeah.
can reach out to
What
Chad.
about grant? Can the mayor still be signing the grant approval, or because of?
Well, the grants will still follow a similar process, particularly
not changing the
if we're having to, clearly the process will still stay the same as
Okay.
far as there'll be an on-base submission
Yeah.
that a department wants to apply
Okay.
for a grant that will certainly require city administrator and finance director approval. I don't recall if we specifically addressed grants and removing the mayor from that one as part of this, so.
Because
I
the
think
mayor
our-
cannot approve a grant.
I think our intent is not to change that process through any
yeah,
of this.
okay.
And then obviously you'll see like an example this evening with the police department DOJ grant. If there's a grant that we are looking to incorporate into the budget, it's got to come to council to get incorporated into the budget anyway.
And the other thing I want to mention that the contract that they have any policy attached, they should have to council.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Any, like, we are doing something because we are implementing a new policy or we want to implement, those ones should be routed to the council.
An example on tonight's agenda is the fire and EMS
Exactly, that one.
plan.
Yeah.
Well, if that were to fall under the purchasing
Yeah.
thresholds and allow administrative approval, that is definitely a policy call for the Common Council, for sure.
One more clarification, if I may. These contracts, we're only talking about purchasing contracts. So grant agreements, MOUs, subdivision improvement, like all those things are still the same
Okay.
process. We're
Okay.
just talking about
Okay,
contracts
purchasing.
associated with purchases.
Okay. Good point. Okay.
I just wanted to add, if things are not for public construction, this authorizes to not have to publish these in the paper. And so that saves us some time. And then we also talked about creating a city website to show the projects we're going out to bid. So contractors,
Oh, yeah, that one would be
we talked
great.
about the
Yeah.
paper.
Yeah.
Very few people are, as Misty and
Yeah.
and Tim indicated, the paper's not where they're going to find these. So that's one of the changes.
Yeah, but this is good because some of us that we write our own blog and newsletter, sometimes we like to include, what is the city working or what is happening. What did you say? What is growing on?
So I've got in my newsletter a couple sections, what's growing on, which are construction projects and other things like that, and working for you, which is things like the tree planting. So I'd reach out to Anna about that one to get the lists by neighborhood, which I just forwarded to the council in the interest of time for this meeting. So I would just hope that if there are things like that staff think are interesting, send them our way. Yeah.
Newsletter, push it. Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah. Yes.
well, so that leads me to one other thing we talked about in finance was, so this is going to save a bunch of staff time not putting these resolutions together and things like that.
The meetings are going to be shorter.
Yes, the meetings will be shorter. And that's why I support this, despite like the fact that I do agree with Alder Gerhardt that like I learned a lot from those, just like seeing those things come, kind of how the city does things. And so we talked some in finance about staff maybe using a little bit of that time they're saving to make sure that they're bringing these things to the committees and like making them part of their staff report in those committees. And then it is then incumbent on us to bring those things to the council so that kind of information filters up. And so like if we're saving a little time in these meetings, maybe devoting a little bit more time to the committee reports and like making sure we do a full reporting of what happened in those committees and what staff is reporting to us.
Okay, any other question, comments? And also we are free, we have an issue with the staffing, so that one is going to also help the department to free up some time too, So that one is going to help streamline the processes internally, so. Okay, any other question, comments, where we are? What is? Oh, okay. So all those in favor of ordinance 2026-06 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ordinance passes. Okay, thank you. So next we move to Personnel Committee.
We met last week and we approved some real minor employee handbook changes about meal breaks and holiday pay for police lieutenants and fire evacuations from the City Hall building.
Okay. Thank you. Public Safety and Human Services.
Not a lot to report. There's many things going on. There's a autism walk. There's a dog cancer walk. There's many events coming up. The list was about 10 long, and now we're starting to see graduation parties and things coming up. So
Summer again.
things, summertime things have
Some
ramped up.
departments are going to be busy.
3 new operators licenses. That's all I have to report.
Thank you. Okay, so next, unfinished businesses, we don't have anything. So new business, we have a couple of direct referral.
So I'll move approval, Resolution R8126, approving agreement for subdivision improvements in Lot 11 in the plat of Orchard Point.
Second. Okay, what is this thing?
Public Works approved. This is a standard agreement. We need the contract in place, and this is for a 180 unit multifamily building. And again, there's our standard agreement that needs to be in place for them to move forward.
Okay, any question, comment? This is for the affordable senior housing, isn't it? Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah. All those in favor of resolution R-8126, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. Next one.
I move approval of Resolution R8626, approving the purchase of additional data storage.
Second.
This was approved by Finance. We have rapidly growing data needs driven by digital evidence primarily, and we are buying 175 terabytes, which should account for about 15 years of growth. This is actually going to be added as a new CIP project this year. Oh, 5 years? Oh, I'm sorry, 5 years of growth.
Oh, okay.
This is a new CIP project created. There will be a new CIP project created in this year. The total cost is $96,600.
For a year?
5 years
Oh,
of growth,
96,000?
approximately. It depends on the, but Nick can speak more to that.
Wow. Okay. So my question, Nick, is why we're doing this and why we didn't do it during the budget time? What is the urgency now? Why can we cannot wait until, the 2027 budget?
Cycle.
Yeah.
Understood. So primarily is because it's the growth, and the growth right now is uncertain, primarily because of digital evidence. If you take out the police department, your growth is trackable and it's linear, but you can take one major incident and evidence collection in one major incident could easily take us over our threshold that we are presently at. So this is why it's something that we're not waiting on, that we're moving presently. Right now we've been kind of, in essence, I won't say patching things together, but we have been able to put in some new policies. We've worked with the police department to change some of the retention policies and make sure that we're cleaning up where we can. But we know for sure that by the end of the year, that it is something that we are growing more than we expected to when we purchased the previous storage. And so at this point, we are pushing this forward prior to the budget process and in the middle of the CIP process. This is also a direct referral because of the current market for this type of hardware. These quotes are also only good for a very short time instead of the typical 30 to 45 days. The bids are only good for maybe 14 to 7 days. I think this one is about 7 days on the bid. We are also purchasing this out of fund balance as well, and we're using approximately about $2,000 from disability premiums that were waived this year to address the operating cost.
Okay. So it's because also I will say that the way that our police department is transition from paper to digital and all the data collection that they are having now with, they have to, I don't know, pictures and videos, all of that. Yes,
Correct,
this is
right.
that.
And the data is more rich. It's at a
Yeah.
point where it's not able, there's only so much compression that you're able to gain on those type of, particularly the videos. Obviously, we have other departments that are leveraging more videos and more pictures and those things of that nature. However, percentage-wise, it is primarily digital evidence.
Any other question, comments? No? Okay, all those in favor of resolution R dash. Oh, sorry, this is 2/3 of the vote because we are using fund balance. Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Gerhart?
Aye.
Alder Herps?
Aye.
Alder Jetser?
Aye.
Alder Latase?
Aye.
Alder Lepper?
Aye.
Alder Ragsted?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick.
I'll move approval of Resolution R 9926, authorizing a contract with Oh, nope, wrong one. Okay. I'll move approval of Resolution R 9226, amending the 2026 Grants Donations Fund Budget, digital analysis of cellular technology.
Okay.
Finance approved.
Okay.
This was a grant to the police department from Wisconsin DOJ to address drug trafficking and violent crime. It's Cellbrite software, which extracts and organizes phone data for those investigations.
Okay, so go ahead. Deputy
Yeah,
Chief.
very similar to what Nick Joseph just talked about. The immense amount of information that's kept in people's phones. And with this grant, we hope to increase the number of digital forensic analysis technicians throughout the police department. That accounts for nearly $10,000 of this grant alone, as well as getting the requisite software necessary within the police department. We hope to also ask through the grant to purchase a computer with the capable software and technology to really cut the time down on the actual phone dump, if you will. Right now, we have to have somebody sitting there with the phone the entire time they do, and it can take hours. So we hope to get a computer
So it's going to
decent
save
enough.
time to the detectives.
Time, and then not only it'll give us the ability to get into people's phones, so we can increase our ability to investigate a lot of these crimes that we deal with.
Oh, okay. How to extract information from them. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so this grant is valid for how long? What is
It's for
1 year, 2 years?
no, I believe it's for 15 months.
Okay.
We got it awarded to us at the beginning of March, and it goes
Okay.
until June of next year.
Oh, okay. Okay. Any question, comments? Nope. Okay. This is a 2/3 vote because this is a grant received.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Gerhart?
Aye.
Alder Herps?
Aye.
Alder Jetser?
Aye.
Alder Latase?
Aye.
Alder Lepper?
Aye.
Alder Ragsted?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
I move approval of Resolution R 9926, authorizing a contract with McMahon Associates for services related to a feasibility study and implementation plan for a joint fire and EMS district.
Second.
Finance Committee approved. This is our plan to have a joint fire and EMS district with the Village of Oregon. We had 6 responses to the RFP, and we selected this vendor. The total cost of the service will be $65,000. Fitchburg, since it would be 75% of the district, will cover 75% of the cost, which is going to be $50,000 when you include contingency. We may have other municipalities join, and there's a possibility for that, which would change the cost. But we'll see where that goes. But we're moving forward because we're ready to, and we need to keep pushing forward.
Okay. So, oh, yes, David.
Well, I was just curious, what
what made this one stand out amongst the others?
Yeah, I can look at that. So there was a group that took a look at all. There were actually 7 proposals submitted. That group included representatives of elected officials, public safety chiefs, and administrators for the 2 communities. And we looked at a number of things. Specific factors that kind of swung to McMahon was prior experience with similar situations, as well as familiarity with Wisconsin service delivery models, including districts. So there were, all the proposals had some strength to them. We ended up interviewing McMahon and one other proposal in more detail, and ultimately went with McMahon based upon that collective group's assessment of their qualifications, experience, and what they bring to the table. One of the projects that the group specifically considered as it relates to McMahon's experience is their work with both Wauwatosa and West Allis, who are in the process of currently merging their fire and EMS operations, and familiarity with the state's innovation grant program and their assistance that they provided to West Allis and or Wauwatosa in that process as well. So there is a possibility, there's still maybe as much as 4 years available on innovation grants that we're going to continue to keep our eye on as well.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay, any additional questions? Comments?
Oh, I think the other thing I forgot to mention, how long was this process? I can't recall what you said in finance.
We're looking at 5 to 6 months, and the Village of Oregon takes this up, I believe, at their regular meeting next Monday. And the 2 communities, assuming their respective boards and councils approve the contract, will be ready to roll in May. So we would anticipate something coming back to this body later this year that would lead to providing direction to staff whether or not you would like to continue to pursue this implementation plan once it's been developed and you guys have had an opportunity to have it presented to you and consider it.
I think we need to explore this because it's going to be we can see that in the fire department and the EMS, it's going to get very difficult to retain, to hire, to buy in the long term. It's going to become more and more restricted with all the constraints that we have with levy limits. So I think we need to explore, at least we need to provide that option to the taxpayer of Fitchburg and say that what are other options we can look and explore that we can make our the EMS and the fire department sustainable in the long term. We need to look for long-term solution here. We are not looking for short-term solutions. So I think we need to explore this.
Totally agree, Mayor, and I think one other important consideration out of this is we shouldn't look at this implementation plan as that it's going to necessarily save the municipalities money, because we know that costs are rising and that it is likely that our respective services are not adequately staffed as well. What this is hopefully going to point out is that we are able to gain a number of efficiencies by looking at a consolidated service that will allow us to better allocate the resources that we do have to ideally improve staffing in certain areas and coverage in certain areas, and also ideally perhaps reduce or eliminate some redundant capital purchases as well. So we really want to take kind of the long view on this, and I would just caution folks that we shouldn't expect to see necessarily any cost savings being identified, particularly in the short term, but we would anticipate some cost savings likely on capital expenses over the longer term.
Any question, comments?
I mean, a bigger department also provides pathways for advancement for firefighters,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm sure there's a ton of things that
Yeah, yeah.
that we're not necessarily even thinking of. But
Mhm.
yeah, I fully support this. I think I'm really excited that we're exploring it,
Yeah.
and really excited to see where this study goes.
Okay, so where we are here. Where is? Oh, here. Okay, all those in favor of resolution R-9926, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you. Okay, it's the next one.
Do we want to make a motion on these, or do we? I know
Yeah, we have, I don't know if Valerie wants to do an introduction.
Should I
Or Chris.
move it, or?
Huh?
I know there's a closed session related to these, right? Or am I wrong?
The closed
It
session is
depends.
available. I'll
Yeah.
defer to Valerie, but I think there would be some value in just talking about what this specifically is, or there could
Yeah.
be some value in talking about what this specifically is in open session.
Okay,
And
so I can
then,
put a motion on the table.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that that's fine. Valerie, unless you disagree, I'll offer that before Alder Gerhardt makes that motion.
I'm seeing a nod.
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay, I'll move approval of resolution R-126, partial tax assessment refund for Fred Elon for 2023.
Second.
Finance Committee referred this to council without a recommendation.
Okay, so Valerie, can you tell us what is this? So we have an idea, we need to go to closed session or? Oh, Chris.
Absolutely. I'll
Chris is
kick
there.
this off. So this resolution and the next resolution on the agenda, these are authorizing partial refund of property taxes on the two respective parcels that are referenced in the resolution. Those two parcels are part of a larger tax assessment lawsuit that the city is engaged in, and that is a large part why we have this closed session noticed on the agenda, because we are actively engaged in litigation with the owner of these parcels. And so because we want to be able to preserve our litigation strategy and discuss kind of the impact of these refunds, potential impact of these refunds, we do have that closed session. And so I did want to give you kind of the heads up, if you will, of what we'll be talking about, as well as give the public notice of what we'll be, but I do think it would be appropriate to discuss it in a closed session.
Okay, so,
Move to closed session.
okay.
I'll move to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 1985 1G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved for excessive tax assessment litigation for Fred Elon and Fred Fitchburg Retail LLC properties.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor go into the closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. So, Jake,
Convene into open session, or whenever it's good. I move to reconvene into open session.
Second.
all those in favor of reconvening to open session?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carry. Okay.
Valerie.
Okay, Valerie, go
Valerie,
ahead.
you want to provide that summary?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, welcome back, Alder Lepper. We just had a closed session to discuss the impact of the two resolutions that authorize the refund of property taxes on the pending litigation, and that closed session is authorized by statute because it involves strategy and conferring with counsel as to litigation that the city is currently involved in. By ordinance, you weren't able to participate in that particular closed session. However, the resolutions that are before the council tonight, the two resolutions, ultimately at its base, the assessor is recommending the partial refunds on those two properties in the amounts that are discussed in the resolutions, and I can share with you in open session that it is the recommendation of council as well as the assessor that this resolution be approved. And these two resolutions, I should say.
And
Okay, thank you. I don't have any
Valerie,
questions.
Valerie, just to confirm, the English version of council that you're referring to when you use that.
The what? What do you say?
I apologize. Well, we have the council and the council attorneys here, myself as well as our tax assessment defense counsel with an
Thank
EL,
you.
not an IL. As in the lawyers, sorry.
Ah, okay,
That clarification was helpful. Thank you.
Okay, so this one is, okay, so what we have in front of us now is R2, 126. This one we need 2/3 of the vote, so we need to do a roll call. So I need a motion.
We already have the motion.
We have the motion? Yeah, we have the motion, okay. So we are doing roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Alder Gerhart.
Aye.
Alder Herbst.
Aye.
Alder Jetzer.
Aye.
Alder Lattice.
Aye.
Alder Lepper.
Aye.
Alder Ragsted.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay.
I'll move approval of Resolution R10126, partial tax assessment refund for Fred Fitchburg Retail LLC for 2025.
Second.
Finance Committee referred this without a recommendation to council.
Okay, so we already discussed this in closed session, so
And this one is a simple majority.
simple majority, yes. So all those in favor of Resolution R-10126, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Aye. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, so next we are on D. It's another, what is, discussion.
You're on E.
Where is? I am missing something?
Then come back. We're on this one. This was tied to the
Okay. So now we are on action E. Is an action on claims MS Triverton and MS Chapel Valley. Do we need to go to closed session, or Valerie, you're going to explain this first?
We can, but I would like to do an introduction as well, again, for the purposes of both Alder Lepper as well as the public at large. Before the council tonight is a request from the property owner for a refund of taxes in effect on the basis that they have filed an exemption, tax exemption, pursuant to Wisconsin state statutes, alleging that their property should not be taxed, that it is tax exempt. The assessor has denied that request. This property owner has filed similar requests in the preceding two tax years, so in 2024 tax year and 2023 tax year. The city is actively engaged in litigation on that very question as well. And so, in effect, this is the same request, but for a new tax year from the same property owner. For those of you who've been on the council for a few years, you know this is the third time you're seeing this, third year in a row. So once again, the city assessor does not believe that an exemption is appropriate. And we do have a closed session on the agenda, as I mentioned, because this is not just likely, but also currently in litigation. Attorney Sadler can share her insight and some rationale and litigation strategy that the city is intending to undertake. So I would encourage you to take advantage of that closed session if you'd like to hear an update in that regard.
I would like to make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 1985 1G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, claims MMS Triverton LLC 2979 Triverton Pike Drive and MMS Chapel Valley LLC 2970 Chapel Valley Road.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of going to a closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Sorry, I am falling asleep. Who's going to do that?
I move we reconvene into open session.
Second.
Okay, so all those in favor of reconvening to open session, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
I move to deny the claim from MMS Triverton LLC, 2979 Triverton Pike Drive, and MMS Chapel Valley LLC, 2970 Chapel Valley Road.
Second.
All those in favor of denying the action on the claim, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to extend our meeting by 15 minutes.
Okay.
Not that I think we'll need it, but.
Second.
All those in favor of extending our meeting for 15 minutes, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The motion carries. Okay, so we are done. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Chris,
You're
Valerie.
welcome.
Okay, so we are at the end, almost at the end of the agenda, and we are going to go through the ALDE district report. So, okay, 1 minute each. So we're going to start with David. Dave.
Bike giveaway on April 4th. We gave away 85 bikes thanks to Fitchburg Bike Community, the Wheels for Winners, Bike Mechanics, and Mike Grady that helped with the obstacle course, Andy Schwei, everyone that helped with the great event. I wanted to show you some pictures, the new Corey Frank apartment building that's going up, the 280 unit. See pictures, the two, and then the picture of the dirt is the large stormwater detention basin. All the water has to be retained on property, so it's a pretty big, deep retention basin that they're building. But the outside of the building is pretty much complete now. They're renting it out. So I just wanted the fence is going around it. Just wanted to show everyone that. Our community garden is.
Oh, but I have a question. So
Yes.
no one is complaining about this, isn't it?
I think they were complaining about the street.
Ah, okay. Okay.
The street is closed on one side,
Yeah,
Madam
yeah,
Mayor.
yeah.
And I think that's.
Yeah, we saw the post.
Yeah, I
and
did
the
too, and
email.
I did. It's construction, you know.
Well, and I'll just clarify, the main reason for that street closure on Fitch Runner Road is related to the commercial development up on McKee, so that they can do necessary traffic improvements and other sorts of utility infrastructure additions.
Okay, thank you, Chad.
Okay.
All right. Our community gardens, we're taking more applications. We have a couple of people there, so there are some open applications, and I think that's all. I think my minute is up.
Okay. How much is
$30 a year.
$30 a year? Oh, okay.
30 a year, yeah.
Okay.
I thought for community gardens, didn't we increase that to 50 as part of our fee schedule increase? I thought I saw that the other day.
Talk about fees.
I wasn't aware of that.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'll have to look into it, Logan.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the prompt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. District 2.
Reminder that the round trip spring roll challenge is currently underway, and if you haven't logged any trips yet, you have until the end of tonight. So before you go to bed, go ahead and log your trips, and you can win fabulous prizes. The Bike the Berg challenge is also underway, so you should keep track of your biking miles between April and September. On Thursday, we have our District 2 Great Clips ribbon cutting. And as Gabriella mentioned, Bowman Plaza, also in District 2, is going to move forward. I see that we are referring out tonight the PDD GIP to PDD SIP. So that project is moving forward. And this Thursday, there is a Let's Talk Climate Action event with Dane County exec Melissa Agard. That is Thursday, April 16th from 5 to 6 p.m. at 5201 Fen Oak Drive.
Okay. Thank you. Gabriel.
I went to a Sustained Dane breakfast this morning about data centers. I think Micah was there too. It was really interesting. I think they recorded it, so I'll send it out to the council afterward. I think it was a valuable discussion from two UW professors and Kathy Kuntz from Dane County, who does sustainability at Dane County. And then hope to see you at the waterway cleanup and the pancake breakfast this weekend.
Yeah, so I know that Jake and we are volunteering for the pancake. Yeah.
I'll be there too.
Oh, I didn't see your
Oh,
name.
we might need to notice a possible quorum then. I'll be there too.
I didn't see your names in the list, so. Okay. Okay, Chad.
I just want to clarify, when on the city's website and on the community garden reservation application section, indicates $30 per plot, maximum of 2 plots.
Okay, thank you. So it's still 30.
That's what currently says in the application.
Okay.
pay an extra 20 for my gardeners.
We accept it.
Is what I understand.
I'm just looking at the fee schedule, and on page 169 of 171, it says 2026 proposed 50, but we can offline. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it. I appreciate
Yeah.
you pointing that out.
Is the proposed budget or is the approved budget?
We'll look at it. It's
Okay.
the one I emailed you the other day, Madam Mayor. Anyway,
Okay.
for my district report, just two things that haven't already been mentioned. I had coffee and chat at Finca Coffee recently. Unfortunately, it was only like 3 people, but still a good opportunity. And speaking of opportunities to get out and chat, I saw that we have referred out the 2 concepts for the Southdale Park improvements, which would include a water feature, spray feature, bathroom, and shelter. So in discussions with some other folks, I think I'm planning to go to the park and print them out and say, hey, which ones do you like better, concept 1 or concept 2, to help engage and get some additional feedback that we might not otherwise receive.
Thank you.
If I may, just want to clarify too, certainly proceed with that intended exercise at Southdale, but I just want to make sure that council is aware that during an event, I believe either last summer or the summer before that, there was an opportunity for residents participating in that event to complete a survey on what sorts of features they would like to see in Southdale Park. And the 2 concepts that you do see in front of you for consideration significantly reflect the feedback that was provided by residents at that time.
And we got a lot of great feedback at that. So thank you. Kudos to staff for doing that.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
All right, a couple things. I went to the recycling event to drop some stuff off for my neighborhood and then started volunteering. And I don't...
Because it was busy.
I don't think I was authorized in any way to direct traffic in the way that I was. I was in the road. I was stopping and doing this. But it's great how busy it was. Just another reminder, people said this already, the tree planting is Friday the 24th in Chicory Meadows Park and Saturday the 25th in Western Hills Park. And I think they are both at 10 a.m. And then May 3rd in McKee Farms Park is there's a walk. It's called Puppy Up it's for canine cancer research. Dave mentioned it when they did the permit. The walk's at 1:30. I've done this numerous times. It's fun. There's dogs everywhere. And then finally, I just want to shout out Tracy and the election staff and all the work they do for the election. People talk about elections all the time, and there are just her and thousands of clerks around the country that are making these things come off without a hitch over and over and over and over again. So just thank you for that, and that is all I have.
Thank you. Jake.
Yeah, only 2 things. Last Saturday, I volunteered at the Guns to Gardens event, and I got to handle some very, very old guns, which was interesting. But I think we had 33 guns turned in total. And so those will now be made into garden equipment. And that's an awesome event, and I hope they can do it again. And then just a sincere thank you to the folks of District 4 for their confidence in me. And I'm looking forward to what's to come. There you go, 10 o'clock. Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, so announcement. What I want to say that tonight is the last council meeting of this current council. So and I say thank you for all of you for your service, and I am glad that we are going to continue the same council for at least for another year. And I am very glad that I'm going to continue being the mayor of the city for the next 3 years. And I want to say thank you to everyone that voted for me. And I represent everyone, the people that vote for me, the people that they didn't vote for me, but I am here to serve this community. This is my call. So I am very grateful and honored to do this job. And I love it. Okay, so I also want to say that I forgot to mention is Tracy today is 18 years with the city. So congratulations. Okay. So it means a lot when we have employees that have been working with us for a long time. It tells something about who we are as a city and as an organization. So thank you. Okay, and then, so our next Common Council organizational meeting is going to be next week, the 21st. Please, you need to be here at 5:15 for the picture. Please, if you are not going to be able to make it, please reach out to Chad. It's the swearing ceremony for the new councils and mayor. And then our next regular Common Council meeting will be April 28th. And the next committee of the whole is April 27th. Oh, next week too. Okay. What is there? Do we need to have an organization onboarding?
Yes, we think it is important to ensure that everyone is reminded of their roles, responsibilities, and ethics, conflicts of interest, all of those sorts of things. So you will have the presentation with Valerie and I. Obviously, we might be able to breeze through certain areas based upon those of you who have participated in the past. Will certainly be cognizant of that. But I think it is important just as a matter of routine. You know, while this council may not have any new members moving into next year, that may not be the case in other situations. So we'd like to maintain that consistency.
Thank you. And also want to mention that you will receive an email from me or from Sarah, because we need to do like, there's going to be a video, we need to do like a sexual harassment training. The anti-harassment, That one is a link, isn't it?
Yeah, the city every 3 years does anti-harassment training for all city staff. And I think the last time we did that 3 years ago, we had common council members also complete that training. You're able to do that remotely through a recorded video of the session.
Okay. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning the meeting at 10:04, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourning. Thank you. Buenas noches.